Okay, hey, we're doing to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. To have a really cool strap review for you from the brand Hirsch. A little bit about them. They're a family-run company, and really what sets them apart is that they're able to produce high-quality products at scale and have many model lines that are stocked in volume. Now, this particular strap is a new release for them and is actually was sent in thanks to UK-based Watch Obsession, which is a shop that have a very close relationship with Hirsch, even managing the official Hirschstraps.com dedicated site apart from their main storefront. Now, this is part of their Arne lineup, and it is actually a great revised take on that. It's a fresh reinterpretation of that popular strap, and this new model does away with its leather upper and replaces it with a high-quality composite made of around 10% reclaimed ocean plastics and recycled PET sourced from landfills comprises the remaining 90%, and then it is embossed with a canvas style texture. The Arne continues its ocean-faring theme while having a more substantial reverence for the environment in terms of its material choices. And then the underside of there has that premium rubber that is pretty much signature with their whole performance line, and it gives it that great structure and that wonderful kind of supple yet durable characteristic that made it such a fan favorite, and ensures that the band as a whole, of course, all together now in terms of the construction, is 100% animal free and vegan friendly for those of you that care. So this is just a newly updated for 2023 Arne, and this is in the black on black, but it's also available in a green and black colorway. So with that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. Guys, you know I'm a sucker for sailcloth straps. I'm a sucker for hybrid straps, and this kind of does both of those things. So I love Hirsch's performance straps because they have this great underside, which is beautifully ventilated. It does add structure, but it does keep things still quite pliable, which I really like. And, you know, at the end of the day, although this is a mass-produced piece, it's actually produced really, really nicely. And that's the thing that keeps me coming back to a brand like Hirsch. While, of course, there are some smaller niche brands that do a lot of very nice, very highly executed small production batch straps. Those can be very expensive. Whereas here, you can actually get this one from online for less than $100 at $94.95 each, and that's as configured, and of course through Watch Obsession. One of the great beauties of purchasing through Watch Obsession means you can actually choose which hardware to get, which typically a lot of the US vendors will all kind of just default to whatever settings, and then whatever they have is what they have, versus Watch Obsession being able to configure that for you, which I think is really, really cool, especially as somebody who wants to kind of find these perfect pairings when it comes to straps. I won't typically change out a lot of watches onto different straps. I'll kind of try to find the perfect pair for that and just leave it on that strap if it doesn't have a nice bracelet. Now, this is available in 18, 20, and 22 millimeter widths, and then they all will have a 2 millimeter taper down to the ends. So this is 20, that means this will be 18 in terms of what it tapers down to. You can get this in a polished, brushed, or black or gold coated, or as well as this is actually compatible with some of their silver or gold deployant clasps, which you can check out if you follow the links down in the description, which of course will increase the cost. These also do feature these nice quick release spring bars, which do make it quite a breeze for swapping out. And then of course the model that I have this on, if you guys are fans of this channel, you may have seen this quite a few times. This is actually I just love this watch. It's my Hamilton khaki automatic chronograph. It's only 38 millimeters and it has a day date. It's a very, very plain in terms of the way it's laid out, reminiscent of something you might see that costs a lot more from a brand like, let's say, IWC. So This is just a really cool one, very basic, pretty old, right? From probably the earlier 2000s is in terms of when this was actually produced. But I love this watch, and I've had it on so many different straps, and this is exactly the type of strap I've been waiting for. Something that has that great textile finish to it, right? But still has the performance aspect, which is very, very nice. I do like the weave here. It definitely gives it a bit of a tactical vibe, which I can appreciate. Of course, my time, almost 10 years as an active duty Marine, I love things that are kind of within that tactical vibe. And of course, even this style of watch has a bit of a military undertone to it within these kind of khaki field and aviation lines. So very, very cool. It's a great size for me at 80 millimeters in terms of the short end, and then on the long end 120 millimeters. That works out really well on my wrist. My wrist is 7.5 inches, but it is a bit round, right? So it's not just flat on top and then kind of skinny this way. It's pretty round, so it's got some girth to it from the side profile. But even at 7.5 inches, this fits really well, and you can see I could probably use, let's say, the third hole and still be quite comfortable. If I make it a little bit higher on the wrist, I can go to the fourth hole there. You have that one fixed keeper and then one sliding keeper, so you can keep everything nice and tidy. And again, you can arrange this based off of kind of the height on your wrist. When I first started this channel, I would really wear a lot of watches very low on my wrist, or like actually on top of my hand, and then I slowly kind of started wearing them a little bit more so on the wrist bone or above it. And with that, of course, it's getting a bit thicker, so you go from kind of 7.25 to about 7.5. So there is a bit of room for play in terms of that. And then of course you do get nice spacing in between each hole, so to really find something that's comfortable for you. And hey, if it's the middle of a hot summer, maybe you give it a little bit more room to breathe, so your wrist can expand. Or hey, if it's colder time frame, or depending on how high or low you want to wear it, it can be very comfortable as is. And then the nice thing is, even if you wear it a little bit tighter, you're still going to be getting that ventilation thanks to the shape of that under layer, which is great. And this thing looks fantastic. Of course, if I do get it too close to the camera lens there, you're going to get a bit of perspective distortion. So I like to keep my wrist nice and low and just kind of tighten up the frame here so you guys can get a look at how this is going to wear. You can see very nice, no break-in period needed. It is going to be a bit thicker from this perspective. It's not just going to taper down, but it also tapers in width and thickness, so that it's going to have more structure here to really hold this onto your wrist. And it's going to be a lot more thin and pliable here, which is great in terms of being very, very comfortable. So this piece wears really great, and I dig it. I'm really happy that they came out with this colorway. Of course, I trust Hirsch's build quality, and they're a brand where, yes, they're not the cheapest, but they're definitely not as expensive as some of these niche brands that put out some really cool straps by comparison. But again, because of the low volume, they kind of have to charge a lot because their cost is a lot more expensive. Whereas doing these in volume, you can get better deals. And if you are going to buy and you want that availability and the configuration portion of getting whichever one that you want in whatever configuration, I definitely can recommend Watch Obsession as a dealer. And even though they're sending stuff from overseas, it still gets here pretty quick, especially depending on what type of shipping. So a big shout out to Watch Obsession again for sending this in for me to share with you guys. I do like it a whole lot, and definitely keep an eye out on my Instagram to see if this strap pops up in my feed, just because it's a really cool one. So for me, guys, closing thoughts, very excellent in terms of the way that it wears, in terms of the construction. It's really what we've come to expect from Hirsch's performance line. You can see again that where it tapers gives you more structure here at the top side, closer to the lugs, and then as it gets further away, nice and thin, again, nice and pliable, not needing of breaking in, which is really great. So it's cool, especially now that you pair it with this more premium kind of sailcloth style upper. I do like that, seeing that texture, seeing that weave. But it's also really versatile because it's just a plain black strap, right? So it's very wearable. You can throw it on a bunch of different things. So it has that great kind of air, land, and sea vibe, but it's also performance ready, and also it also, I think, touches on the tactical undertones, which for me, of course, prior service, hey, I'm digging the tactical style. So for me, this is just such a great match for really any kind of sports oriented watch, but in the black colorway particularly, and then even with the green insert with the black backing, then it kind of even opens the door for more, I'd say, more overtly kind of military style combinations, where this, I think can also just look kind of like a cool performance style hybrid strap, which is, these are really in style these days, and some brands are charging big bucks for them, whether they be OEM or aftermarket. So it's nice to see a brand that has, of course, a very solid history put together something that you can really trust. So with that said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do it like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.